Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name's John. This is my first video in 4K. I don't know how much difference that's going to make on YouTube, but I figured I've got the technology, let's use it. Got another 35mm SLR for you this time. This is the Mamiya 528TL. Mine's not the greatest condition, but it's quite an interesting camera, so I thought I'd give it a look. Let's check it out. So here we go then. This is the Mamiya Sekor 528TL. As I said in the intro, it's a 35mm SLR, single lens reflex. But it's a bit unusual. So the idea of an SLR normally is that when you look through the viewfinder, you're actually looking out through the lens. So you're seeing exactly what the camera is seeing. And it means then that the lens can be changed without having to alter any kind of setup or whatever. But this has actually got a fixed lens on it. It can't be changed. It's a 48mm f2.8 lens. So this was made by Mamiya. I think it was 1967 it was released. I've got Mamiya Sekor here. Sometimes you'll see just Mamiya, and in the United States it was renamed the Sears Auto 35TL. If we spin it round to the back first of all, we've got our take back spool, if you like, and as per usual there's a little lift out lever for you to wind the film back into the canister once you're done. We have our wind on lever here, which is mechanical. Hot shoe for a flash, which I'll come back to in a moment. There is also our shutter button and a little window to tell us which frame we're on. I'm going to fire the shutter off for you because I think it's absolutely got a lovely sound. It's what's known as a leaf shutter, which is actually normally very quiet. That's the idea of a leaf shutter, but this one's got a bit of a strange mechanism inside, another little oddity, and it makes quite a loud shutter noise, but I do like the sound of it. I hope that gets picked up on the microphone. Let me just bring it a bit closer for you to hear it, just in case. Yeah, so it's a bit unusual. So if we open it up, there's a little lever here. You'll be able to see better, hopefully. So obviously our film goes here, comes across, and it is wound on onto the spool here. Let me just bring my light a little bit closer. I don't know how well you can see inside there, but it's quite a sort of solid arrangement in terms of mirror, shutter, all that sort of thing. Let me just fire it off. I've got it on bulb, so I can press and hold and then release. And it's that thing dropping back down again that makes it very loud, but very satisfying. On the bottom then we obviously have our tripod mount, and we have a battery cover, so it's the normal cell battery that most cameras seem to take, and then we've got our release to actually allow the film to be wound back into the spool. On the front, pretty straightforward. We've got our sync for the flash, so for those of you not familiar, flash goes on top in the hot shoe or whatever else, but this device here will help us synchronize that with the shutter. On the bottom of the lens we've actually got our ASA setting, so it runs here from 10 to 400 ASA depending on obviously which film you put in the camera. And then on top of the lens we have our focusing ring, and this is partly why mine doesn't work at the moment. This is really loose on mine. It's not going to hold focus very well at all. You can probably hear it rattle. We've then got our shutter speed ring, which is the complete opposite. It's very, very stiff, so I don't think that's working at all, because no matter what I seem to set it to, it is giving us a bulb shutter speed. It's not actually giving us a correct one at all. Bulb should be by way of the B. You would press this little tab here and move it across, and that should give you bulb, but as I say, it seems to be set on bulb regardless. The last ring then is our aperture. As I said to you, ranges from f2.8 down to f22, but it's also set here on automatic aperture. So this camera has a light meter, as I said, built into the camera and linked to the aperture so that you don't have to worry about aperture settings if that's functioning. But again, it's not functioning. There is actually a needle inside the viewfinder as well that would have given us a reading had it been functioning. So yeah, not bad, quite simple. It's quite a nice looking camera. It's quite solid. I believe this is plated brass on top and on the bottom. It's just unfortunately mine's not in great condition. If you're starting out, it's probably not a camera I would encourage you to try. Simply the fact that you're paying for an SLR and you're not getting a proper SLR, and the fact that you can't change the lens. But yeah, it's an interesting camera, and one that you might like to try out if you're a little bit more experienced. I think I'm going to have a go at repairing mine. I came across a good website while I was researching this camera, which I'll leave a link to in the description below, but it gives full instructions on how to disassemble this and give it a clean and that sort of stuff. So I figured, as I didn't pay for this, it would be worth giving it a try. So perhaps look out for a future video on that if I'm successful. So there you go, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Bit of a short video this week, but unfortunately, due to COVID restrictions here in the UK and my workload being quite heavy at the moment, I've not managed to get out much. Having said that, I have completed the home developing. I won't spoil anything for you, but next week's video should feature that. I hope you enjoyed 4K. Like I say, I don't know how much difference it's going to make, but I'm going to stick with it. And I hope you enjoyed the Mamiya Sekor. Look out for it. Mamiya is a brand that you'll come across a lot in film photography. Some of their medium format cameras are absolutely excellent, but perhaps not so much this one. Other than that, guys, thank you ever so much for all your subscriptions, your likes, your comments, etc. It really does mean the world to me, and I really, really appreciate it. Thanks again. See you next time.